I want to shoot this video just to inspire you guys. That doesn't matter how hard or what you guys are going through, if you're starting out or if you're running a video agency or if you're running a creative business and you feel like you just keep hitting roadblocks and obstacles, or if you feel like you haven't seen an increase in sales or you just can't work something out in the business, you're not making any profit or whatever it is, and you feel like giving up, I want to just use my story as an example of how not giving up, and even in the face of massive adversity and when you feel like everything is falling to shit, even in that, I want to encourage you guys to hold it together and keep going. Yeah?
Don't give up. Stay in it.
So I quit a full-time job working as an in-house media coordinator / videographer, I guess, for an online fitness apparel brand. And I was making about $1,100-$1,200 a week, which was pretty good. I was 24 at the time. I got to the point where I was doing so much for them. It was really good. And then I kind of felt like I should just be doing this for myself, for my business. Like, we were seeing a lot of runs on the board for the company that I was working for. And I was like, I feel like I was just enclosed. Like, I was capped, I was limited, right? I want to put my name out there. So after having a good chat with a friend who kind of gave me the courage and kind of encouraged me, just like, dude, just go out and do it.
Just do it!
It gave me the courage to be like, okay, I'm gonna quit. And then I just walked into work the next day and said,
no, everything's fine. Hey, listen, I quit.
He was not happy. He did not like the idea of me leaving. And a friend of mine, he owned and ran a glazing company that would install glass, and he offered me a small office space upstairs in their factory. So on Monday, that following Monday, I got into the office. I kind of sat there and I said, oh wow, okay. So this is my business. Yeah, you know, to put everything into context, I had no savings. I had about $120 to my name. It was really bad with finances. I didn't know how to save money. I had bills that were owing. I had rent obviously due at the end of the week. There was no like, transition. Like, you know, you've got a month buffer to work things out. It was nothing like that. So I decided that I was going to go door knocking. So at the time I had an iPad, had a cracked screen on it. I drove to like a few industrial areas and I just started door knocking, and so I would go and I just walk up to the reception and just say, hi, how's it going? My name's Andy Johnson. I'm from Expansion Media. I run a video agency. Just getting out and seeing if anybody needs any video production or any videography. And it's really bad pitch, really awkward, bad sales pitch, right? I wasn't as enthusiastic the second day because I was like, after each no that I was getting, it was more me realizing that shit, maybe I made the wrong decision here. I honestly thought this would be a hot product. I honestly thought that I would get so many people being like, yes. It came down to Wednesday and I was still getting no's. And by the end of the day on Wednesday, I was feeling pretty defeated because I was like, I don't even have one lead, like not even a lead. And I'm just like, am I going to all the wrong areas? Like, this has been 3 days of like heart on my sleeve door knocking. They're saying no to the product, but to me, it's like they were saying no to me as a person because this was everything that I had, right? This was, my petrol was running low. I recommend having buffers, building up buffers in the good seasons of your life so that when you enter into phases like this, that you have a little bit of grace in your bank accounts for slow startups. You need that acceleration period, right? So I didn't give myself that, so I went the hard way. So yeah, it came to Thursday. And this is when it was a real slug because I was like, it's been 3 days of no's. My friends are asking me, how's it going? Your first week of business? Fucking shit. Like, mental struggle to the max. It got down to about 3 o'clock and I had parked down like this street that had all like old mechanic factories. They just had like old beaten up trailers just sitting at the front of their business. Like, it was old school. Like, these guys don't even look like they want to interact with humans. And I remember I sat there and one of the buildings had a sign that just had their number. I thought I'd just call the number instead of walking in because it's going to be a waste of time. I said, hey, my name's Andy from Expansion Media, run a video agency, and just wanted to see if you guys were interested in video for your business to help promote your business. And this guy kind of mumbled a little bit. He sounded like an old school car mechanic who'd been in it for yonks for a while. He's like, well, when can you come around? I'm up for a chat. And I'm like, holy smoke, this guy's actually up for a chat. Like, he was actually interested. And I thought, okay, cool. All right, we got something here. And I walked in, and we did the whole spiel, and he liked the idea, and I felt like we were getting closer and closer to him saying yes. And he was like, well, yeah, we'll do this later on, but yeah, this sounds good. And I'm like, oh, I don't need the money later on. I kind of need it now. And we kept talking, and the pitch was over. And then somehow he's like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just do it now. He successfully made a payment of $450 on that spot. I then said, I'll be in contact with you with our next steps. I went home that night, and I said to my friends at the time, who I was living with, I said, I made a sale. And they said, wow, congrats. I said, thank you. I don't know if they realized how much that meant to me, the sale that I made. And I remember I was cleaning the dishes that night, and I saw $450 come into my bank account. It said, you've been paid $450. And I could have cried, like that moment when I realized, wow, it does work. I had that moment to myself. I had people around me, but I had that moment to myself like, oh my gosh, we can actually do this. Now today, Expansion Media still runs. I charge a lot more than $900. You know, one of the things that I read from the Bible, there's a scripture in Psalm 17, that talks about fishermen, and back then they were the businessmen who would go out and do fishing or business in deep waters. And in those deep waters, the winds will blow very ferociously, and the seas and the waves will toss to and fro, and the fishermen will become scared, they'll become anxious, and they'll get to a point where they will worry so much that they've reached their ends wits. So that ends with, when I looked that up, that actually means like they get to a point where they've exhausted all of their understanding. You get to a point in life or in your business where you've used every solution you possibly know, every angle, every perspective, every ounce of your wisdom. You've used everything. You're at 0%. And it says those fishermen get to that point in their business, when they're out there, they get to their ends wits. And at that point, they cry out to God. At that point, they seek help from a greater power, from God, right? And God then comes through, helps and saves them, and they end up being successful with their fishing at that time, and they calm the seas, and they come back to shore, and they rejoice, and they're happy, and they're filled with courage again. And when I read that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so the entrepreneurial route. Like, you go out and you think, okay, we're going to go out into the deep end. We're going to go crush it. We're going to build this business. We're going to go do big things. And you get out there and you go, holy crap. Like, the winds blow, the waves wash over you, and you lose your direction. And all of a sudden, you get to your ends with, all of a sudden, you've exhausted all of your ideas. You've exhausted all of your solutions and methods and everything. And you get to a point where you just want help. See, I was in those points multiple times, and I did cry out to God. I did pray to God, God, please help me in this situation. You know, when things come through, I will know it's 100% through your hands and not by mine. All I have to do is keep showing up. All we have to do is physically continue to show up and just head in that direction. I promise you, it will happen. It will come to pass. Even when you think it is completely over, it's not over. So just one more chapter, just one more door, just one more call, just one more post, just one more. That was my mindset. You know, it's now been 6-7 years since those days now. I can talk about the transformations that's happened in the business, but also personally, emotionally, spiritually as well for myself. I've become a much wiser and mentally stable and strong individual because of those years. Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, because again, I want to build a community here of like-minded entrepreneurs and business owners and video agencies who are literally trying to fulfill their passion and their vision of what they're capable of doing. So I hope this story inspired you guys. Keep going, do the reps, keep going. Just one more, yeah? Just keep going, just one more. I'll see you guys in the next one.